the entire province of Balochistan. There was a Canadian team under the Colombo Plan, and we carried out a mosaic flying in which we recorded the magnetic anomalies as well as transferred it onto a map which shows which mineral is where. And I assure you, I'm a witness for it because I flew 6 months with them, that the entire province is brimming with energy and mineral.
And that is precisely the reason that why Americans and the other countries in the West, like UK and Germany and all, they're trying to destabilize Balochistan. Why are this is precisely the reason. Because they have an eye over there, and our problem is that we cannot manage our security and ensure our own investments under our own control. Unless you ensure your investments according to your terms and conditions, the outside interference will keep coming in. Why is India trying to assert in Balochistan? Manmohan Singh accepted that thing, that we are involved in Balochistan. And why should our government take it lightly? Why should they come out with a strong hand that we will not accept any interference from outside, whatever the reason may be?
I think our government has taken a strong stand. Barrister Aeman, in the article under reference, you have strongly criticized the 1991 petroleum policy. What was wrong with that? And have we been able to address some of that in the 2011 policy?
Well, just to let you know, if you look at all these policies, starting off from 1991 until today, we see very ambitious and strong promises. We see provisions for the environment. We see provisions for marine and coastal research. And then we have this really annoying clause, because I, being a lawyer, I keep on reviewing these agreements and documents. In every single document, you see 12.5% royalty for the government. What are we thinking? Are we selling our resources for peanuts? Countries out there, regimes like Brazil, regimes like the UK and US, they make sure they get a large chunk of the revenues and taxes. Even our income tax ordinance 2001, it hasn't made a difference to what the government is going to be collecting. So basically we're in a position right now, this is a very uneasy position. It's a dilemma where we have everything open. Please come, please invest here in our hydrocarbon sector, but be wary of the security problems. And still investment is not coming in. It's 2011, our policy is still in its draft form. It still hasn't come out there. And I also wanted to add to what Mr. Mujtaba was saying in terms of our connections and the way we are proceeding further. We need to bring our current benevolent friends from the West to the table and let them know that we have serious investors here. We have got the Chinese, we've got the Iraqis. If they can outgo whatever, if they can offer us something more in terms of security, in terms of financial stability for this country, we're ready to keep on working with them. But knowing the geopolitical realities of the concept of energy security, as Mr. Bellier has pointed out, there's a time we need to start thinking these are our allies, and the following allies need to be changed over time.
What's your opinion on Balochistan? We just mentioned it is not only sufficient in minerals and energy, but it can solve the problem. It can turn the province around. From the most backward, it can become the most developed.
I'll start my response to this question from the part where I actually feel grateful that we have democracy in our country once again. To be very honest, Balochistan has suffered because at a point we had an impression in the world that, okay, we have got a lot of resources, a dictatorial regime is going to be imposed upon us. Balochistan is going to have better days now. I have actually been reviewing the amount of blocks available and the work that's going on to them. As soon as we have the new policy out, it's a very promising policy. It offers you a bonus, a bonanza. It's trying to get in more foreign investors. It is very, very likely that investment will start occurring again in Balochistan in particular, but our problem remains security, which unfortunately I, being a legal analyst, do not have an answer for.
No, but I would seek a response from you. Let me first talk to Raja Mujtaba. How, sir, can we endeavor, what suggestions should we make to the government or to the policy makers to overcome the current crisis and ensure that we achieve our true potential in energy?
Mr. Hali, there's no shortcut to hard work.
But we can make a beginning somewhere.
We got to focus, and we got to focus, and we got to focus on our own self. You know, we got to have trust in our own selves, and we got to realign our foreign policies. Without realigning our foreign policies, we will not be making any headways. And I am a strong supporter and believer that we must take Russia on board. We must take China on board. We must take Iran on board. And these are the countries which are in our neighborhood. And a country in neighborhood is always more useful and beneficial than a country which is miles and miles away, thousands of miles away, continents away, you know.
How about Central Asia?
Central Asia, when we are taking China on board, Central Asia is part of the same process, you know. And Central Asia, we are working, and I, as you know, that I am very keen follower of ECO.
Yeah.
And we have got to strengthen that block ECO to its maximum potential, you know. And if we can do that, our energy needs within Pakistan will not only be met, but we will be surplus. I have been always saying that we can turn Gwadar into a world hub for energy export. And we have a lot of energy that we can export from Gwadar. And that is precisely why the West is irking, because they think if this goes on, then Pakistan will not remain under their thumb, and then they'll have difficulties.
But so the West itself is starved for energy, and if we serve as an energy corridor, especially giving an outlet from Gwadar, the world's needs would be served from here.
West is starved for energy, but they are concentrating on two different fronts. One is they want to ensure energy for themselves, and the second is they want to deny energy to certain other countries, you know. So if they were just concerned about their own interests, you know, that they want energy for themselves, probably things would have been much easier. In every move that they make, okay, they want to deny energy to China, they want to deny energy or benefits to Iran, they want to deny the same thing to Russia. And when they go into that sort of a denial sort of a mode, then the problem starts. If they were just looking for themselves, probably the things will become much simpler, much easier, and they will find many more sellers who will be able to sell them. Now, what happened in Libya? Libya basically was not any country that was to be attacked. It was attacked because Libya was a big supplier of oil to China. So the West wanted to take control of that and deny that to China. So this is how problems are triggering off. Once the West confine itself to its own interest, that we need to meet our own energy resources, probably things will be much easier.
Right. So, Barrister Aeman, I would request you to share your thoughts on how we can achieve our power potential.
I believe that the first thing what we need to start doing in our country is to stop blaming the current government for everything. In our country, we have this thing, yes, this government came, it ruined us, that government came. The problem lies precisely with the roots, the root of corruption that has come in at our bureaucracy level. The way people expect to come in, they expect to be approved, they're unscrupulous. So we've got a lot of problems going on there at the grassroots level. It's not just the current government. You should stop blaming that, because we always have a very investment-friendly policy. We have the infrastructure. What happens when a company comes into this country? It takes them months and months and months to get approval. Your rigs are just standing there. Every single day it's costing you millions and millions of dollars. So basically what we do is So
what steps do we take to make sure that we achieve our potential?
The first thing is, actually, you know, it's a two-tier suggestion that I would like to give. It's your foreign policy. You need to start looking at people who will actually help you in the long run. Tomorrow, if somebody wants to come and destroy your country, who's going to save you? It's going to be your neighbors. You need to have good ties with your neighbors. You've got China there, you've got Iran there. It's good to have good ties with the West. I believe we need good ties with the West, but we also need very good ties with the South Asian region. We've got Bangladesh there. Bangladesh has got a large amount of gas reserves. We've got China there, we've got Iran there, and we've also got Turkey there now. Turkey might become a part of the of the European Union at any time. So Turkey is a very good potential investor for the pipeline. Secondly, we have to reconsider China's offer of selling us electricity. They keep on coming to us, they keep on offering it to us, and goodness we can't figure out why we keep on refusing, because if we have electricity, the industry will work. Once the industry works, there's going to be less unemployment. We are going to be less miserable, basically. The second tier of my suggestion, which will sum up what I'm trying to say, is if we continue to ignore the problems and the lacunas in our infrastructure, our policy is going to continue since 1991 till date, 2011. It's going to continue to look like Frankenstein. Frankenstein, as I mentioned in my article, was made of beautiful parts.
Point taken. So viewers, we come to the end of this discussion on a very fascinating topic, and we have come to the conclusion that energy security is not only essential for Pakistan, we need to focus much more on it, and rather than pay lip sympathy, we need to come out with cogent policies and cogent measures how we can achieve our true potential. I am indebted to the suggestions by Major Raja Mujtaba. Thank you so much. And it was like a whiff of fresh air to listen to you, Barrister Aeman, because the youth is always refreshing. Thank you so much. So viewers, with that, we would like to thank you for participating with us and hope to see you next week, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.